Hi, this is Dr. Deborah Roba. Well, tonight we have a master class called Reclaim 2020 Fierce and Fabulous. So we're going to wait a couple minutes just to see how many people are able to come on tonight. And I think we're going to have a wonderful time. Let me just go review a little bit the reason why I wanted to be able to present this class. At the very beginning, I was so excited about 2020. I hear so many women tell me that, how excited they were. And I had decided that my word for the year was going to be fierce. Oh, we had some people coming on. We have Rose Kenny. Hi, Rose. And that's Roselle from Philadelphia. We have Gail Martin. And she says to say hi to everybody. And then Gail and Rose are talking back and forth, but really they're chatting back and forth. And you know what? I'm so glad that they're chatting, because what I'm hoping to do tonight is for us to have a chance to exchange ideas, thoughts, and really come in. Okay, now here we have Lenora. Hi, Lenora. How are you doing? And she says, hey. Okay, Lenora, let's find out Lenora, where are you from? I'm hoping to have people from all over. Okay, we know that Gail is from Philadelphia, but we don't yet know where Lenora is from. And she says, hi, Lenora. Now, wait a minute. This might be a friend of mine's, Lenora, that I know. So we're going to find out when she tells us where she's from. She is from West Oak Lane. Now, for many of you, just for you to know, that is a part of Philadelphia. And I always say that's the part of Philadelphia where all the bougie people live, because their homes are fabulous in that area of the city. I myself, I live on the other side of the city in West Philadelphia, which I'm very proud to be a resident. All right. And say, yes, and I am your friend. I think this is the friend of mine that we went to, oh my goodness, Ocean City. But she'll tell me yes or no. Okay, so now we have several people on now. So let's just talk a little bit about Reclaim 2020. When I spoke to many women, and I just want you to know, my name again is Deborah Roebuck. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for over 40 years. I've worked in maternal child. I've worked with women. I even had the privilege of teaching a class called The Emotional Phases of a Woman's Life, where I served both men and women. And only because my pastor said men need to understand the different phases in which a woman goes through. So I'm going to tell you, some of the people in my class were as young as 18, and other people were all the way to 80 years old. And I would figure, okay, and the gentleman who was 80 was our pastor's father, who had many daughters, and he said how much he learned. And so you ladies, a lot of times you think, okay, guys don't want to hear about this. They're very good listeners, and they're very interested in learning how they can better understand going through the change. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to my story. I was going to be fierce. I was going to work and do everything I need to do to get my body in order. And what happened? COVID-19. And then all of a sudden, I'm quarantined at home. And I know many of you still, were staying home. I said, okay, now let's look at another way I can get my body in shape. So my niece, my sister, and us did exercise on Zoom. And then all of a sudden, I had a situation happen where I wind up having multiple compound fractures in my spine. Who knew? I'm going to tell you, that incident really helped me understand and be clear that when you're going through menopause, you don't know what's going to happen, but the way you go through menopause is how well, I'm telling you, how well you have taken care of yourself going through. So tonight, I wanted to be able to say, how do you manage the various steps going through? And I develop a PowerPoint presentation and what have you. Let me tell you, I'm still learning how to do this technical stuff. So let me just say, I have my PowerPoint over there, and every once in a while I'm going to be looking to the side because I want to make sure I cover everything. The very first thing I want to say to you, and I'm going to tell you, how you manage menopause or menopause is how you think. Yes, how you think. Now, you know, when I grew up, they were saying menopause, and I was thinking, well, what is this all about? Everything I heard was negative. Everything was about a stereotype of a woman. Either she was grouchy, she was hollering at everybody, she had hot flashes, she couldn't remember anything. Every time she turned around, she was going to the bathroom, and she was complaining. Our society has made menopause oftentimes so negative that we women have more or less let it sabotage us. Sabotage who and what we are. First of all, I want to get it clear. Menopause is not an illness. It is a transition that you go through life. Now, if I ask any of you, and I want y'all to answer this, do y'all remember them talking to you about you having your period? Do you remember having health class and they said now, when you're about 12, 13 years old, you're going to start having a menstrual flow. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to take care of yourself. And also, you can get pregnant, okay? It's all about reproduction. But who has spoken to you about menopause? Who told you the various signs and symptoms to look towards for menopause? They more or less made it sound like either you're having your period or you're not having your period. One and done. And I want you to know, first of all, that is a myth, that menopause is a process. And just like when you started to go through menstruation, adolescent period, going through young adulthood, childbearing, all those different, it was a process. And I want you to understand, who you are now is not who you were when you were adolescent, a young adult, going through childbearing. And I'm not so much talking about how you, yeah, in a way I am saying, how your body handled different things then is different now. It's almost to a point that you have to relearn yourself. You have to start assessing who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing at this point in life. But I want you to know that you, and I will say to you, menopausal women, you're one of the most powerful groups of women there are today. Many of you are not only handling your younger people in your life, some of you, and I've talked to some of you are even raising young people. That's on one hand. And the next group of you are working with seniors. It's almost like you're sandwiched right in the middle. Sandwiched in the middle. And you're like, you know what, with this COVID-19, I'm staying at home. Everybody is all in the house. I thought I had hot flashes, but let me tell you something. I'm really having it now. I thought I was irritable, but I'm really irritable now. And all the progress I have made, all I'm thinking about is just surviving. I'm going to tell you something. You're going to more than survive. You're going to thrive. Yes, you're going to thrive. My brother-in-law said, in the midst of difficult situations, look for the opportunities. And that's what I'm going to say to you. You look for the opportunities, because many a times when there's a difficult challenge, there's opportunities at that point for you to not only be planted, but to bloom. Think about what you could be doing now. So now let me just say this to you. Because sometimes we have these negative stereotypes about ourselves, even in the work situation. And now some of you are home doing your work. Some of you are essential employees out at work. But sometimes I'm talking to women, they say, you know what? It is very challenging at work. First of all, I'm older. When I start talking about the hot flashes, people just look, to the side. But when you look at the statistics, at least almost 40% of the workforce for women are menopausal. So you're in a great company of women. Now, back in the day, they didn't talk too much about menopause because people's lifespan was not as long. Hey, they used to say back a while ago, if you lived to be 65, you were doing good. But not so now. Once a woman has menopause, do you know the possibility of your life is another 20 and 30 years? 20 and 30 years. My question is, what are you going to do? Are you just going to sit and vegetate? Or what are you going to do? Are you going to thrive and conquer and really fulfill some of your dreams? This COVID-19 might be a detour, but it's not the end of the destination of you accomplishing your goals. You hear what I'm saying? It is not the end. So let's move on. So, okay, we're going to work. Some of y'all probably need to get an ink pen because I'm going to be asking you questions. And I want to see if you will be able to chat so that we can talk back and forth. Okay, now we talked about menopause being thought of as negative. Those limiting beliefs will sabotage you every time. I tell women, I use scripture as my foundation, that you're wonderfully and beautifully made. You were wonderfully, beautifully made as a baby, as a teenager, as a young adult, and menopausal. You're still beautiful. And don't let anybody tell you different. Okay, some of you might be roses, some of you might be daisies, okay, begonias, impatience, but you're a beautiful flower. You got to have that in you. You got to shift the way you think. If you were thinking negative, what are you going to put in its place? Question 1. Being menopausal, how do I see myself now? Now, we talked about from a social perspective how there's a lot of negative stereotypes out there. But my question to you, you might want to write it down. How do you see yourself now? I'm going to answer some of these questions because I want you to think about this. I went through menopause early because I had a hysterectomy. I went through a lot of physical changes during that time. I wound up having breast cancer. I had to have surgery. Right before then, my husband passed away. And at the same time, we had a police shooting on my step, which was a tremendous, all this was happening within the same period of time. I had to make a determination, how do I see myself now? I'm going to tell you what I did. I kept moving. And not only there, I started my own business at the age of 65. Now, who would have thought? Because I knew that God had placed in me something that I could do even at the age of 65. Now, my next question to you. Now, I've asked you the question, how do you see yourself now? Next question, how do you see yourself in the future? I was listening to the speaker and she says, I want you to write out, how do you see yourself at 75? Okay, I got 10 years for 75. I got a lot of dynamic friends who are 75 and 80 years old. So I know I see myself absolutely. Okay, let's talk about a couple things. Tomorrow, I'm going to the hairdresser. Yes, I've been in since March. This hair is not where I want it to be. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be fabulous. I'm taking some risks. I'm really thinking about completely, instead of waiting gradually to get gray, I talked to the young lady. I said, let's take it all gray at one time. Because I'm going to see myself as fabulous. Okay? That's one of the things. When I talked about I had retired. But when I see myself in 10 years from now, I want to see myself fit. I want to see myself moving around and doing a lot of various different things. There is too much to do to sit down and do nothing. Or just say, oh, I'll just wait. No. Let's think about what those dreams were from a long time ago. Some of you, and I can say for myself, when I was a teenager, I wanted to be a teacher. I wound up being a nurse. But do you know at different sections of different parts of your life, your dreams come true? Now here I am, 65, and now I am teaching. That doesn't mean me being a nurse all those years weren't important. It's that you are so fantastic. You have so many skills, abilities, knowledge, and wisdom that at different points of your life, you're able to do various different things. Think about it. And my next question to you is, why do I want menopause under control? Why do you want menopause under control? Now, your reason for wanting menopause under control might be completely different from my reason. I'm going to tell you why I want my menopause under control. Because first of all, I don't want to be irritable to people. I don't want the people to think bad of me. I'm telling you the truth. But there's so many other aspects of menopause that I want under control. But bottom line, I want to be healthy. You hear? Healthy. My question is, do you want to be healthy? Okay, I see Sister Carmen Vega there. How you doing? She says, hola. And I say, hola back to you. Now, this is a dynamic lady. I'm going to tell you. Wonderful role models. Let me say something real quick. I don't know if you get to look at my page going through the change, but on Wednesday, hi, how you doing, Shirley? Shirley D. Taylor, how you doing? Every Wednesday, I post something about a specific woman who is menopausal because I'm tired of people putting us down. I want people to know all the wonderful things we're doing. And I'm going to think of one person right now who I admire. Her name is Sister Evelyn Wright. Now, here I was in a class. The class was quite intense. 16 weeks. It's a college level class. And Evelyn, 82 years old. 82. Now, when she came into class, she said, now look, I don't know too much about the computers. I said, oh boy, you don't know too much about the computers. And now all the work is done on the computers. But she said, I'm willing to learn. And she said, you know why I'm here too? Because they just said I had dementia. And I refused to go along with their diagnosis. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take this class. I'm going to learn how to use a computer. Well, let me tell you, at the end of 16 weeks, not only did she learn how to the computer, not only did she did all the writing and what have you, she came out of that class with a 92 average. What about you? We talked about first 75, but what are you going to be at 85? I'm going to be like Evelyn Wright myself. I'm going to still be learning. I'm going to still be doing various different things. Okay. Okay, postmenopausal 2, say age. My sister's sending me notes here.
On the floor.
On the floor. And I still don't know what she was saying, but she wants to.
saying menopause is postmenopause.
Oh, she said also postmenopause, but I'm going to talk about that, okay?
Hey,
That's my sister Rose, okay? So, okay, and if you think about it, think about the word menopause. I decided I wanted to change that around. No, okay, think of it now. Menopause. Now, when they put that word together, and this was constructed, it meant cease having a period. Okay, I'm taking that to another level. Menopause, M-E, me, N-O, no, pause. I don't stop. Like Evelyn, I'm not stopping. I'm not sitting down. Because being menopausal, I got value. And not only do I have value, I have so much value that I can share it outside of myself. First thing, we talked about one of the first steps, we talked about menopause. The myth of menopause is more than just stopping being able to reproduce. Let me tell you the real deal. When you talk about menopause, you're really talking about 4 stages. You're talking about pre-menopause. And some of you saying, now wait a minute, what's pre-menopause? I'm getting there. Perimenopause, the pause, and postmenopause. Now let's back up a little bit. Let's back up. Premenopause, hey, you can still be having your period. Now I remember when I was teaching the class, a lot of women said, I have premenstrual syndrome. All of a sudden when I get close to my period, I feel like eating a lot of salt, a lot of chocolate. I get irritable. Sometimes I get forgetful. Let me tell you, that's just a preliminary. That's one stage, but you still got a regular period. Perimenopause is when you start noticing your period is shifting. Maybe one time it comes this time, sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long, sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's a little, but you notice irregularity. The pause is when you stop seeing your menstrual cycle for one continuous year. 365 days, 1 year, okay? I want you to get that. And then postmenopause, remember I told you about once you stop your period, you can live another 20 or 30 years. Post. But when you go to the doctors, a lot of times they don't tell you about the phases. Sometimes all they talk about, let me give you hormone or this kind of treatment. And many women need to know that, yeah, that's an opportunity. You can use hormone, but you most likely depend on how old you are, how long you can use it. Even when people are using different hormonal birth control pills, they're only going to keep you on that for so long. And that's the reason why I tell people, you have not gone through menopause until you have completed a good 365 days of no period. Now, why do I say that? Because you can get pregnant. All of a sudden, your ovaries are not releasing eggs, and then all of a sudden, pop, here comes an egg. I've taken care of too many women coming in the labor and delivery room and say, I can't believe I'm pregnant, and they're pregnant, okay? So it's one solid year. You used to hear about, oh, my mama got pregnant. I'm the last of my mama's babies. My mama got pregnant on a chain. She was about 45, 46 years old. Yeah, it can happen. Okay? Then let's go on to postmenopause. There is no complete conversation. No one told me once my ovaries was out that now I'm at risk because the hormones that was protecting me, they didn't tell me I was more at risk now for cardiovascular issues. Hypertension. Hypertension for me, definitely. And other cardiac issues. They didn't tell me that now I could have problems with bone loss. Now, I told you at the very beginning, I wind up having a compound fracture, spine. That pain was unbelievable because, number one, I'm a breast cancer survivor, so the medicine I take really expose me to have bone loss, okay? And here I am, my spine's fractured. I've never been so thankful for the fact of having a spine before because I never really felt it before. But the reason why I'm telling you all these things is because no one is telling us how to prepare. All of a sudden you have the problem and no one's telling you what to do to get ready for the problem. So one of the things I want you to understand that menopause is a normal transition, and what's normal for you might be normal different for somebody else. Now, it could be between the years of 35 all the way up to 65 years of age. Now, your ovaries are getting older. The hormone, estrogen, progesterone, all of those have been decreasing. And that's why things are so erratic. Now, some of you say, well, I just thought that impacted my reproductive system. No, hormones, estrogen, progesterone, impact all parts of your body. I was looking up different signs and symptoms of menopause. I found there's as many as 34 different signs and symptoms. 34! And I'm going to go back real quickly. When I went to the doctor and they did the MRI for me, I presented with extreme pain. But do you know, I did not realize until I went to PT, the physical therapist said, Miss Roebuck, let me palpate your hip. Let me palpate here. I had pain. And he said, because you have not been taking care of your bone health, your posture has been off, all of your body has compensated and shifted all of that problems, pain, issue to your spine. So I presented with the spine problem, but the root problem was how I was handling my bone health, how I was standing. I didn't even realize that my bones have gotten to the point in my posture and my tendons and soft muscles, I could barely raise my leg. He said, oh yeah, that's the reason why you can't even move it on one side and you're getting it in the back. Now, what has this got to do with menopause? Because many times you think the presenting issue, you would say, Deborah, I got problems with hot flashes. You will focus on that and not even have looked at all the other things around you. I said, whatever you're struggling with or challenged with menopause, I want you to think about, second step, what, when, who, where, and how. Now, some of you saying now, why are you saying who? I had a client, and she's, older, about in her 50s. She has a young child. And she didn't realize, she knew about work. Work is stressful. But her daughter was starting to stress her out. Well, at the same time, her daughter was getting her period. And so Then she started to notice as I walked her through, when your stress level increases, so does all the other signs and symptoms increase with it. For her, it even went up to the blood pressure and other different types of things. So she got a handle on that. But if she didn't start looking at all the different, if we didn't work together to look at all the other different issues, we didn't know that certain things trigger you to have other things. Let's take another thing, sleep. People say, "Oh, Deborah, I can't sleep. Up in the middle of the night," and I have issues with that too, and I got to constantly work at it. But I had one young lady said, "Liz, I can't deal with the sleep, so I got to give me a drink." And I was like, "Did you realize alcohol increases all your hot flashes and night sweats and all of that? That's not the thing to do. Did you realize?" And one person said to me, one of my clients said to me, "You know what, Deborah, I realized that when I eat a whole lot of candy, especially after 8 o'clock at night, then all of these other symptoms come along." Nothing is independent by itself. Overall, your body, my niece tells me, your body is your friend. And if you got a good friend, your friend gonna tell you something ain't right. But I'm gonna tell y'all be thinking your body is your enemy when you get all these signs and symptoms. No, your friend, because it's telling you, this ain't working right. You need to look at this. This isn't working right. You need to look at this. Some of you, all y'all do is, okay, let me take some Tylenol and be done with it. Hi, Myra. How you doing? Good. I'm so glad to see you. So what I'm saying to you is, while you're having these signs and symptoms, I want you to write out, what is it? When does it happen? If it's around certain people, do they agitate it? Where? Okay, some people, like we talked about sleep. Okay, it could be I'm sleeping in a certain place, and then I get agitated and I can't get my sleep on or whatever. But you need to even say, how does this impact me? Oftentimes, certain things, you piece them together, it will tell you the story, because you want a solution. But you can't get a solution unless you know all the elements. Oh, my sister's back again. She says, okay. It says I need to be wrapping up in 4 minutes or so. Oh boy, listen, time goes by. But wait a minute. You're gonna have to give me a little extra time. Okay. But oh my goodness, I want you to remember, any solution for menopause is going to take your mind, your body, and your spirit. Okay? Hi, Cynthia Nesbitt. How you doing? Romaine Branham, how you doing? Oh boy, Loretta Wilson. Hey, from Trinidad. Hey, how are you doing? Glad for you to come in. I want you to know, any solution for menopause or anything regarding your health, you have to incorporate your mind, your body, and your spirit. You are a whole person. So when one of my clients said to me, she says, Deborah, you know what? You are a holistic menopause coach, because you're looking at all the different aspects. And I'm saying to you, if you want to move forward, if you really want to be fierce about your body, your health, if you want to be fabulous, because girl, tomorrow when I go to the hairdresser, I'm just going to act like I'm fabulous. I can't wait for y'all to see my hair, because it's going to be wild. I'm even thinking about getting different highlights and everything.
Rainbow, you would think about.
I'm thinking about getting some, because my brand is pink and purples and what have you. Now, don't say too much, okay? If you think I done lost my mind, but I haven't lost my mind, because I figured, why not? Let's try it. Let's do something different. Now, let me just say this, mine. I'm going to give you my example, mine. Now, how do I want to deal with my weight problem? How do I think? I'm going to be able to think about how I'm going to be rewarded for handling or managing my weight. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't do this by myself.
Yeah, tell me what Weight Watchers do.
I first of all, because I know my insurance policy, I have a nutritionist who works with me for cancer. See, some of y'all trying to do everything by yourself. You got this myth, this other myth. I can fry the bacon and I can eat it too. I can go to work
Make
and
my man know
I
my
just do everything. No. Let me tell you, the more I learn from these really high level women who are making these $1 billion, at least $100,000s and thousands of dollars, they don't do everything.
They got a board.
Okay? And I want you to know you are worth getting some support. Health insurance, get a nutritionist. If you want to develop your health and make sure that you're healthier, get a nutritionist through your health plan.
What about Medicare?
And then also, when for me, I go to Weight Watchers. And not only do I have a Weight Watchers coach, I get on Weight Watchers community. You can't do these things in isolation. And in my last class, the ladies were all talking about, well, when I eat, I make sure I have to go upstairs, I have to go downstairs, and you know what hit me? Why do I eat so much? Because I do everything in the kitchen, right where the food is. Something that simple, listening to somebody else. So I said, okay, I'm going to have to move myself out of the kitchen throughout the day so I just won't constantly eat. Something as far as location. Remember I said who, what, when, and how? That's where. Okay. Now, another thing is, for mine, I get up in the morning and I do gratitude. You got to refill your mind with gratitude. They have even shown scientifically how having a spirit of gratitude will help you live longer. What the statistics were saying can help you live at least 7 years extra. I'll take the 7 years. Okay, what about you? I know many of you have gratitude, you're thankful, but I say even journal it. I have a friend named Vanessa Farrell. Now she has 21 days of journaling, because when you start writing this out, you start to gain clarity. And they talk about memory loss. I'm telling you what I do. I got a spiral notebook and I'm writing throughout the day all the things I'm doing. But not only writing it down, I check it off and said that's a win. That's something good I accomplished. Even if it's so much as washing the dishes, win. If it's so much as vacuuming the floor, win. Even if it's so much of me develop a new program, win. We need to say win to ourselves and stop saying, oh, I didn't do this. I didn't get this done. Girl, you fabulous. Win. And spirit. You have to. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl Taylor. I want you to really think about the spiritual side. Now, I know many of y'all in ministry, many of you are ministry leaders, and I'm going to tell you, I'm reading this book right now called many of y'all read, no, my sister's telling me, many of y'all supervisors and managers and CEOs and you leading everything and everybody. But that time of your spirit, that internal work with you and God, and I have learned even more. Stop just petitioning God. I want this, I want this. Listen, I need to hear from God. I need to be fed by His word to give me strength to move on. Even when I'm trying to accomplish some of these different things as far as menopause, I got to ask God. I said, Lord, tell me what to do. This is your body. Guide me the way you want me to do. Open the doors you want me to be open. Because only then that I'm going to be successful in Him. That spirit is wonderful. And one of the things I'm doing now, I'm learning how to do calligraphy, writing. And what am I writing? I'm writing the names of God. I'm learning how to make it just look beautiful. And do you know that's cementing it to my brain?
New
It's
brain
fortifying. And when you develop new things, you are developing new neurons and brain cells. And just like with Sister Wright, she took the computer so that could build up her ability to think. They tried to, back in the days, they used to say, oh, well, your brain's cells are gone. And no, they found out now, the more you learn new activities, I said, challenge your mind, challenge your brain, work on your body, take off some of those bad habits and put on new ones, okay? And I'm going to do the very last thing. A lot of times we want to develop new habits. We got these ideas, but let's be honest with you. Do we do who, what, when, why, and how? I want to lose 25 pounds. And how are you going to do that? Did you put a plan together? Our pastor always said, no plan is no outcome, no action. Did you put a plan together? But I'm going to take it even a step more. I hope that each of you have a morning practice of things that you do and have an evening practice that you wind down the day. So for me, my morning practice as far as my mind is going is gratitude. That's going to help me with my menopause. My morning practice as far as my body's concerned is my exercise. My spirit is reading God's word and praying. Using all three of those things will help me develop a practice or a routine for me to get healthy. What? And my question to you is, what is your practice? Have you developed a habit? Because let me tell you, some habits are easy. Hey, 6 weeks, you got it. Some of them you've been doing the same thing for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years almost. And then all of a sudden you think things are going to change around that quickly. They're not going to change. Hi, Kwanzaa Waters. How you doing? They're not going to change that quickly. So what I will say to you is break down that habit. Make it a small habit. They even did a study where they wanted people to floss. So they would tell them for 30 days, floss, floss, floss all your teeth. And nobody do it after 30 days. But then the other thing they said to another group, I want you to floss just one tooth every day. One tooth. Do you realize by the end of that 30 days, not only did they do one tooth, but they were able to do the whole mouth. See, we want things instant to be able to do things. And I'm saying to you, do things a little at a time to build up that habit. And that habit will build up your level of wellness. It will help you develop protective mechanisms, protective factors around you. Because some of us as black women or women of color, we got too many risk factors that's going against our health. You see this thing with COVID-19, they're talking about, certain different groups and how we're more at risk. I want you strong. Why? Because I want y'all to develop your own movement. Now, I don't know what your movement, I know, say for example, Sister Vega, the work she's doing in Kensington, that sister got a movement going on. I know Sister Mar, who set up things in Guatemala. This woman has a movement and with momentum and with accomplishments. And they could do even more because of who they are in God. I'm saying this to you all. I even see Sister Cheryl, who's trying to take care of so many various people. She's head of our deaconess board. But I'm proud of all of you ladies.
And the Tubman one.
And the thing is, too, my sister's giving me more things to say. You would not believe. She's telling me to wrap up. But I wanted to... That's my girl there, okay? But what I'm saying to you is I'm excited for you. I'm thanking you all for coming in. One of the things that I'm doing now, I'm launching a new program. It's called 90-Minute Intensive Program. I'll put information on it at the bottom of the post if you're interested. It's like an introduction program. And then what I will be doing in next week or two, I'm going to have a virtual retreat. So I would want to know, I want y'all to help me put it together. Tell me what you want, how you want to meet up with people. Because you are fabulous, fantastic women. Okay? All right.
Now in 10 minutes we're going to have.
Oh, Roselle, listen, some of y'all know we're going to go on Zoom. We're going to have a chance to go on Zoom.
Girls' night out virtual.
My sister said it's going to be the after party so that we can all see each other. So what I'll do is I'll put it on bottom of the post, and so that if you wanted to come into our Zoom conversation, because I believe all of y'all have something to provide, come on in, okay? And I thank you, and I thank
Tell me
you.
where to find you.
Now she tell me something else. What?
Tell me where to find you regularly.
Oh, well, I'm on going through the chain. I'm also on Instagram and LinkedIn also.
So subscribe and join.
And so I would want you to be a part of our group. Please become a part of our group
And share.
and share information about our group, okay? All right then.
See you on Zoom.
See you on Zoom. You take care. Bye-bye.